I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. ICE agents remain under siege in Minneapolis. Demonstrators still out in force. Meanwhile, Minneapolis and St. Paul, along with the state of Minnesota, have filed a lawsuit. They're hoping to halt the surge of ICE agents to their jurisdictions. That suit filed against the Trump administration. One of the higher profile battles of the culture wars will go before the nation's highest court today, the Supreme Court. At issue, state laws barring transgender girls from playing on female public school sports teams. President Trump is imposing 25% tariffs on countries that do business with Iran, while the government continues its deadly crackdown on protesters. And a handful of Senate Republicans objects to the Justice Department's criminal investigation of Fed Chair Jerome Powell. More details at srnnews.com.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2. And you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your smartphones and TVs. Reuters Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbie, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp, and they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest growing news channel in America. Make the switch today and join our news revolution. Get Newsmax on cable, on streaming, and download the free app today. It takes just seconds to start. Let President Trump know you stand with Newsmax. It's for real news, for real people. Make the switch today.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
With NWKS Radio News, I'm Connor Schuh. Over 413,000 Kansas birds have been impacted by a bird flu outbreak across the nation at the beginning of 2026. Kansas is one of the hardest hit states by the flu, with the state suffering from the nation's largest current outbreak of highly pathogenic bird flu, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Bird flu, formerly known as HPAI, highly pathogenic avian influenza, is spread mainly through wild birds migrating across the country from birds like snow geese and Canada geese. Symptoms of bird flu can include diarrhea, lack of coordination, nasal discharge, coughing, and sneezing, among a handful of other things, according to the American Veterinary Medical Association. Multiple poultry operations are under KDA quarantine in Kansas, with a full list available on our website. For these and other stories, go to nwksradio.net.
Well above average temperatures and dry conditions persist today with highs in the mid-60s. Some later afternoon clouds and breezier northwesterly winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour south of I-70 to 20 to 30 miles per hour to the north. Tonight there'll be some clouds. Winds from the north at 15 to 25 miles per hour will keep lows above freezing, and a few sprinkles may get squeezed out with the frontal passage. Tomorrow will be colder in the wake of the front, and highs will be around 45. North winds gusting 20 to 40 miles per hour. Overnight, the winds will lighten, skies will clear with lows dropping 20 to 25. For Thursday, under high pressure, begin the day with highs in the upper 50s. Then a cold front will move through with winds 30 to 50 miles per hour and lows falling in the mid-20s. Friday looks like it could be a high-impact weather day with high wind watch, blowing dust, and elevated fire conditions. This meteorologist Chris Romick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
Convenience just got an upgrade.
Farmers State Bank of Oakley is excited to announce the opening of our brand new ATM along Highway 40, right next to Sonic Drive-In. Whether you're grabbing a snack or on the go, you can quickly access your cash without the detour. It's banking made easy, right where you need it. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
Start the new year in a new Chevrolet from Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, where the deals are ready to roll. Right now, get behind the wheel of a Chevy Trailblazer with 3.9% APR for well-qualified buyers, or step up to a Chevy Silverado 1500 and score up to $6,250 in rebates with an eligible trade-in. It's the perfect time to upgrade your drive and start the year strong with the power and reliability of Chevy. Make your New Year's move today at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Shop online anytime at hurlchev.com.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The insurance agency. Insurance the way it should be.
At Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic, they believe in promoting healthier living through compassionate quality care. From state-of-the-art maternity care to life-saving emergency services, their dedicated team is there for you and your family. Whether it's managing diabetes, navigating recovery, or receiving specialized treatments, they're committed to your well-being. Discover the difference a community-focused hospital can make. Visit rayhospital.org today to learn more. Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic. Your health, our priority.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
The amount of money getting thrown around to quarterbacks who haven't done diddly squat is amazing to me.
And Connor Schuh.
He's the new guy.
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
Covering it all from the preps.
He's at the 10, the 5, he dives for the end zone, he's in! Touchdown, Cowboys!
To the pros.
Line drive, left field, base hit! Here comes McMahon, he'll score! Ball game!
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the Insurance Agency, Pestaway LLC, Topside Portables and Pumping, and the Farmers State Bank in Oakley.
Let's go to work.
Rogers empty backfield. He'll get the shotgun snap, 4-man rush, sets in the pocket, hit from behind, down he goes. Did he lose the ball? Rogers is down. The ball picked up on the play by Rankins. He'll run it down the middle from the 20 to the 10 to the 5 and a touchdown. He was not chased. He was not chased. It's a defensive touchdown for the Houston Texans.
You know, it was a pretty slow night when it comes to highlights last night. There wasn't a lot of big college basketball games. There wasn't a ton of NBA highlights that I found from last night. And that was about the only NFL highlight that I found from that game between the Steelers and the Texans.
What about the pick six?
Once again, I'm kind of I'm hamstrung. I can only find what I can find. It's not like I have access to every highlight that can be found.
Fair enough.
Unfortunately, it's the only one I think that Westwood One posted that I could swap or take. I guess at this point in time is the best way to put it. I find ways to find these highlights. Let's just put it that way. It's not like they're just sent to me in an email inbox like, here, have this highlight for your show. No, got to go find it somewhere. And social media luckily allows me to do that. But that was the only highlight I found that of any decency from last night. Pretty much everybody wanted you to watch the NFL football game last night, and that's fine. We did. And it was interesting to say the least. I don't know if it's a good interesting. I feel bad for friend Bill Bierman, Goodland Cowgirl basketball coach. He's a huge Steelers fan. And it was not a great performance from the Steelers last night. Aaron Rodgers, 146 yards passing in what could possibly be his final game. It's hard for me to imagine Aaron Rodgers, who I think is like the ultimate competitor and the ultimate guy that would say, I'm going to go out the way I want to go out, for him to go out that way. So I know a lot of people are saying, I think it's his final game. Could be that. And maybe it is. I kind of got a gut feeling like I don't think it is. I don't think he wants to go out that way. If you get what I'm saying.
I don't think so, but I almost
I don't
feel
know
like
if he can go out any better either.
no, I feel like that game almost kind of put him in the retirement home. I mean, he got annihilated. Like, he looked horrible against the Texans, who granted might have the best defense in football, them or the Broncos. I think it's arguable at this point, but he just didn't look like himself, and he had a fine season, but I think this is where he should pack it up, I think.
30-6 last night. I mean, the game was not much through the first 3 quarters. I mean, it really wasn't much. It was 7-6 going into the fourth. And it's just almost like where the Steelers defense, which was so good. I mean, the last 2 games of the playoffs, the Patriots and the Chargers and this Texans-Steelers game, were prime examples of offenses that could get it down the field. Well, at least one of them could get it down the field, but could do nothing in the red zone. It was it happened so much. Even for the Texans, they get down there and you'd see CJ Stroud go out there and throw the ball or have a silly trying to make a play and fumble it. I think he had 2 fumbles. I mean, the Steelers, 5 fumbles. Oh,
he only lost 2, but he had
2 lost
fumbles.
5 fumbles. I mean, think about. I mean, the Steelers defense played their guts out last night. Guts out. And they were the only reason why they had a chance at maybe winning that game. I kind of thought for a moment, like going into the fourth quarter, I thought, watch, the Steelers are going to win this thing 9-7. 3 field goals from Boswell, and then the Texans don't find, the Steelers defense finds a way to hold. You watch. Because that's what it felt like. It was a defensive struggle for 3 quarters. And then finally, Aaron Rodgers had some issues. Fumble, interception, both them returned for touchdowns, and the ball game was over. And that was the end of the Steelers and possible Aaron Rodgers era. Possibly.
It probably is. And I will say, sorry for Coach Bierman, but this one made me smile as a Cleveland Browns fan.
I'm sure it did. It was not a pretty game there for the Pittsburgh Steelers. What was the total yards of offense for them? I didn't even look that up. Total yards of
looks
offense.
like they got about
175.
Yeah, 175.
$175 of total offense. Oh my goodness. 112 passing and 63 rushing for a whopping total of 175. Which, once again, you got to give a lot of credit to that Steelers defense. They gave up 408 total yards, but really they gave up, you take away 2 of those they take away 14 of those points. I mean, they didn't give up very many points. They bent, but they did not break.
No, and it's interesting because their defense wasn't really that great this year either, but they were able to kind of step up, but it became too much at the end. They got a couple touchdowns on offense, and then, of course, the fumble return and the pick 6. I mean, the Texans scored 23 points in the fourth quarter. It was all at the end, and you said it because not a lot was really going on before that point. But there we saw at the very end of the game, they just turned up the heat. And again, it was the Texans defense more so than their offense really getting it done. So you could say the Steelers defense still kind of did their job, but it wasn't enough.
If you're Aaron Rodgers, no matter whatever happens, whether you're done or if you're going to come back, I mean, he has to be on a team where everything is there. I mean, it needs to be like the 2015 Denver Broncos with Peyton Manning. It needs to be where the offensive line is really good. You've got great playmakers on the outside. You've got a good running game, and you just don't really have to do much. I mean, you just need to kind of exist to hand the ball off or make a couple of throws every now and then, and that's about it. That's what Aaron Rodgers needs.
I think that's what
age of 44 years old or 42.
42, I think.
Okay.
But I think that's what the Steelers hoped for with DK Metcalf on the outside, but none of the other receiving threats could really turn into anything for the Steelers.
Adam Thielen was good. I liked Adam Thielen late in the season.
Yeah, I guess. Like,
I'm not saying he was great.
He's a shell of himself, though. That's for sure.
And
Calvin Austin, deep threat, he's okay, but none of those guys are like wide receiver 2 material.
No, it wasn't much. And so if Aaron Rodgers is going to come back, he's going to have to. If he stays with the Steelers, they're going to have to add more around him. And if he doesn't, then he's going to have to go someplace that just has more going for it.
Just retire. Like,
he just wanted to be
it's over.
10
for his own sake. I mean,
4 MVPs and 10 Pro Bowls.
It's been a great career.
Yeah, it's been a great career. It's been a great career. The NFL the schedule is set for next weekend after the 30-6 win for the Texans. So the divisional round will get going on this coming Saturday, the 17th. The Denver Broncos get the first game of the weekend, 2:30 Mountain Time from Mile High. They host the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen on CBS. Denver, by the way, favored by 1.5 at this point in time. That is flipped. I think it was Buffalo yesterday by 1.5, so Denver now holds the 1.5 favorite. Then the late game on Saturday, you've got San Francisco at Seattle on Fox from Seattle. Then Sunday, it's Texans at Patriots. That's a 1 o'clock Mountain, 2 o'clock Central Time kick on ABC, ESPN. And then the final game of the weekend will be the Bears at the Chargers. Sorry, the Bears hosting the Chargers, excuse me. That's at 5:30 Central, 4:30.
You mean the Patriots?
On NBC. No, that's Houston. It's Houston at New England, and then it's Rams at Bears. That's the schedule.
Rams I was going to say Chargers.
Sorry, I didn't mean Chargers. I meant LA Rams at Bears. That's going to be from Soldier Field. A chilly Soldier Field, one would think, on a Sunday.
I'm sure.
By the way, Rams favored by 3.5. Patriots favored by 3. Seattle with the largest spread. They are a touchdown and a half favorite at this point in time.
Okay.
San Francisco. So there is your slate coming up here next Saturday and Sunday as well. So that's how the games. But we'll have Denver Broncos football here on your home for the Broncos in Northwest Kansas. Rocket 1025 coverage of Denver, Buffalo, Allen, and the Bills coming to town at the Mile High. So there you go. That's the NFL slate after yesterday's final ticket was punched there by Houston over the Steelers. Let's see here. Let's move on today. Lots to get to in today's program. We will be visiting with Colby girls basketball coach Yancey Walker. He has decided he'll join us today, coming up in segment number 2. Look forward to visiting with him. At the end of the show, we'll touch on some college basketball. There's a couple of big games tonight for Kansas and Nebraska. In the walk-off, there's more. It's not that it's shocking news. I don't want to say that it's shocking news, but it's kind of nice to get reaffirmed. The reasons why Chris Kleiman stepped down, starting to kind of surface, come to the forefront of why. And I think it's once again, I think I'll reiterate my point that I think it's a sign of things to come for other coaches. So we'll get to that coming up as well. And we'll touch on the Colby Goodland game tonight as well in just a little bit. Before that, let's recap the picks real quickly with our picks of the weekend recap. So, Connor, Schuh, let's get this underway. I'll get my music. Here we go.
All right.
So, recapping, going into the week, Connor Schuh had a game lead on yours truly. I feel like he might have extended his lead.
Oh, I did. This was this might be my best week in the history of the show to this point, easily. You still had a winning record here, but we'll find out what they are in a second. So we'll just start off with Rams-Panthers. I had the Panthers covering. They did just that. I thought they were going to win for a second. You had the Rams covering. They did not. Packers-Bears.
By the way, they should have covered if they would have flipping gotten that score before half. They would have covered, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. Anyway.
Exactly. Packers-Bears rivalry game. I had the Bears winning. They did just that. And you had the Bears covering, and they won, so they covered. Bills-Jags. This was my first miss. I had the Jags winning. They did not. And you had the Bills winning. They did.
Yep.
So you get one right there. Niners-Eagles. We both had the Niners covering. They covered because the Eagles are not that great. Chargers-Pats. We both had the Pats covering. Boom. Both got it. And then the final one where we really agreed on a little stretch here. Texans at Steelers. We both had the Texans covering, and, well, they did that pretty
Thanks
easily.
to that fourth quarter they did.
Oh, yeah. That's a big cover. And number 5, Oregon at number 1 versus number 1 India at the Peach Bowl. Indiana. I had Indiana winning. You had Oregon winning. I still couldn't wrap my head around that one.
I just had a gut feeling that I thought, golly, I just could see Oregon putting it together and they have the pieces. But I'm telling you, when that pick 6 happened on that Pons pick 6, I knew that was over. It was done.
Yeah.
It was the first play of the game, and I knew that pick was trash.
It happens. Next one, our first college basketball pick, LSU versus Vandy, now a top 10 team in the nation. And we both had Vandy winning, and They did. They keep the train rolling. Wow, they're still undefeated. Heck of a season for them.
Impressive.
Our NBA pick of the week, Hawks at Nuggets. Nuggets were favored by 1.5. The Hawks won by 23, I think. And I had the Hawks winning. You had the Nuggets winning. They did not. And then here's where it kind of falls apart for you. Nebraska at Indiana. I had Nebraska winning.
You're welcome, Steve.
They did just that. And, of course, you had the Hoosiers winning this one. Number 22, Kansas at West Virginia. I had a feeling about this one. WVU, they got some guys, and they got the upset. I got that one. You had KU winning. They did not. Then Kansas State at Arizona State. We both had K-State winning. They did not. Arizona State won by 3 at home. And Colorado at Texas Tech. We both had Texas Tech winning, but Colorado made it a game. Got to give it to them on the road at Texas Tech. And then finally, Tennessee at Florida. We both had Florida winning. Boom. So, week records.
By the way, that was a stomping by Florida over Tennessee.
It was.
That was a beatdown.
So Florida's not, the championship hangover is not still over their heads, which is nice to see.
They're good. They're not great is what they are this year. So anyway.
So you finished 8-6 on the week, and I finished 12-2.
What a week.
I am now 18-9. You are 13-4 on 14.
Boy, I've got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. 12-2 record is hard to come back from.
The tides have turned.
That is impressive. A new year, a new shoe.
Yes.
The shoe is on the other foot.
The shoe fits, Ross.
The shoe fits this week in picks of the weekend. So there you go. An update. Connor Schuh with a now commanding lead going into week 3 of picks of the weekend. Okay, before we get to a break, I wanted to quickly get some thoughts on high school hoops tonight. There is a full slate of games. There were actually a couple games last night. I don't want to forget about these. There were a couple games last night. You had Wheatland-Grinnell, Rollins County at the Colby Event Center, and St. Francis hosted Joaquini Trigo last night. A split at the Event Center. Wheatland-Grinnell girls with a close 51-45 win over Rollins County. Rollins County boys beat Wheatland-Grinnell 60-40. For those who are curious, like, why are these games played at the Colby Event Center? Rollins County is building a brand new high school gym. And so that I don't think will be ready until next year, I think is when it's going to be completed. I could be wrong on the ending date, but that's why they're playing a lot of their home games in Colby. It's kind of the closest gym for them to get to. So that's why those games are happening there. Especially if it's teams that they play from the South and that kind of thing. It's kind of a nice meeting point. And then you had St. Francis last night hosting Joaquini Trigo, a couple of lopsided losses for St. Saini. Girls losing 64-19, boys losing 68-32. So sets up plenty of games tonight. You've got Wescan hosting Syracuse, Wallace County going to Greeley County, Shiloh hosts Wichita County, Tri-Plains Brewster hosts Rollins County, Golden Plains is at Victoria, Hoxie at Hayes TMP, Oakley at Norton. That could be an interesting girls game there. Oakley at Norton, Decatur Committee at Northern Valley, Quinter going to Ingalls, Wheatland-Grinnell at Dighton tonight. So some closer games on a Tuesday night for a lot of these teams, including the one that will be happening inside the Max Jones Fieldhouse in Goodland as the Cowboys and Cowgirls host their rivals from Colby, the Eagles. Last year they played a lot. The boys played a whopping 5 times.
Man.
With Goodland winning every single one of them. But still, 5 times, ridiculous. The last game was an epic one, a 55-53 win in the sub-state semifinals over Colby at the Max Jones Fieldhouse. A very competitive and entertaining basketball game for sure that had the Cowboys winning by just a couple of points. And, of course, the Lady Eagles and Cowgirls faced off, I think it was 3 times last year. I don't think it was 4. I think it was 3. The last time being in the sub-state championship game at Scott City with the Lady Eagles winning. No, it was 4 times. I take that back. It was 4 times last year. They won by 10. It did Colby 34-24 in that sub-state title game. Every matchup between those two last year on the girls' side was a double-figure win for Colby.
Like that.
I mean, it was they had a great senior class. You can't take anything away from it. They had a very good senior class. They had been building for that year. They had Elizabeth Barton and how good she was, and Bren Stanley and Allie Flanagan. Emily's on the team this year. Allie Flanagan. They had lots of seniors that played a lot of minutes from freshman to senior, and it finally came to fruition as a senior group, and that's why they went on to state and finished 22-4 and had a great year last year. So Give a lot of credit to Coach Walker and that senior group. And this year, it's the tables have turned on the girls' game, in my opinion. Now you have a Colby team that's kind of starting over, minus Shaylee Holzmeister and Sadie Cheney, who played. Shaylee Holzmeister's played a lot. She's been a 3-year starter now, I think. And then you have Sadie Cheney, who's came off the bench a lot last year, and now is a full-time starter for Colby. But everybody else kind of past that didn't play a ton of significant minutes last year.
A lot of juniors.
So, yeah, a lot of underclassmen this year. No, not underclassmen, but people that just didn't play a lot of varsity basketball last season for Colby. And so then on the flip side, Goodland, you've got a team that kind of took their lumps last year as a bunch of juniors that hadn't played a ton of varsity basketball due to some great senior classes. And they had to fill, and now they've kind of come into their own, especially with the performance they had last time out. It's been a week ago against, I can't remember. Oh, Holcomb. There we go. On the road at Holcomb when they took down the Longhorns pretty convincingly. So if you're just asking me, I expect Goodland to probably have the advantage on the girls' side just because of experience, I think, and probably a size advantage at two a little bit inside because of that game tonight. Any thoughts on the ladies' game tonight, Mr. Schuh?
I think I agree with you to a degree. It has been a different year for Colby compared to last year, but they're still a pretty competitive team, and they were.
I'm not saying that's going to be a blowout. I'm not saying that at all.
Oh no, I know that, but I'm just saying I think it's still going to be a pretty solid game. It is going to be tough to beat Goodland because clearly they're having a pretty nice year and have faced some really tough competition so far, and I think beating Holcomb is a really good feather in their cap, especially by 17 points. So that's an interesting measuring stick because the Colby game against Holcomb, that was pretty close. If I remember correctly, I think it was decided by
hasn't Colby won 3 games by like a combined 4 points or something like that? Like they've had a lot of 1-score, 1-possession wins.
A lot of their last 2 wins won by a combined 2 points over Larned and Cimarron. So a lot of close ones.
That's going to be one of the questions I have for Coach Walker is, for such a young basketball team to win these close games, I find is impressive. Because usually if you're a younger team, that's where you struggle in those tight situations, but they've been able to get it done. Have the Lake Eagles. The boys game tonight, I expect to be a very entertaining one. I expect it to be. Both teams last year were very senior laden with great, phenomenal athletes, whether it was Brady Brumbaugh and his crew with Lincoln Cure and everybody, Zach Thorson, everybody else. And then Colby, and they had Guy Tubbs and Jordan Jones, and Jones, of course, is back this year. My biggest thing is, you're going to have 2 of the better guards maybe in all of Western Kansas, if for sure the GWAC, but maybe in all of Western Kansas with Braylon Mole against Jordan Jones. And I'm really fascinated to see what Goodland does defensively to try and slow down Jones, who's put in 90 points combined the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Against lesser competition. No offense to Larned and no
90 is still 90.
A lot of
points are points, and he's been having a crazy year. And then I think another slight advantage is Colby has a little bit more size on the inside with Coben Curry and Josiah Hoppy, a couple 6'5", 6'6" guys down low, and who can kind of stretch it out to the 3 into the mid-range and shoot a little bit. So I think that might be where Colby, we'll say we can find a little bit of an advantage in that
I'll be intrigued to see do they use that a lot, their size? Do they play a lot of back to the basket basketball with those 2?
They like to enter it into the post to those guys when they can, especially when there's mismatches. But you'll see them, especially Hoppy, step out a little bit.
It'll be fascinating. I agree, because they do have a size advantage tonight in this game.
Oh, yeah.
They will have a size advantage. Goodland might have a little bit of a athletic speed advantage. Connor Collett and stuff. Collett's not small. He's just not tall. So he's not going to get pushed around down there. Probably neither will Trent Sheldon. They're not going to get pushed around. But they are going to have, it'll be interesting to see the rebounding battle when it's all said and done. Does Colby get a lot of second chance opportunities because of that size? Or does Goodland box out? Well, it'll be fascinating to find out. Tonight's game will be very good on the boys' side. You have 2 very, very good guards going at it in Braylon Mole and Jordan Jones. And then, the rest of the playmakers around, they can all do their own thing, but who's going to kind of get the stops when they need to? Who's going to grab those big rebounds when those misses? Who's going to make the big shots down the stretch? So I'm fascinated to see. Who's the number 2 scorer for Colby? Like we all know
It's,
Jordan Jones is number one. He's probably number two too, but who's the secondary scorer for Colby?
That would be Hoppy to this point. I mean, they get him down low a lot, and he gets his post touches, like I said, and again, he'll kind of flare out to anywhere on the 3-point line and hit. And then I think Cody Wright's not far behind him because he can shoot it too, and he's been good in transition too, because of course you know about his speed from the football field, and it translates.
Well, his speed and physicality with that G.I. Joe body of his there, Mr. G.I. Joe. But yeah, he's that'll be interesting to watch that. But yeah, Josiah Hoppy, I've seen him many times. Never seen him. I don't think I've seen him play much on the basketball floor, but I've seen him in person a lot. He's a big guy. He's a good looking basketball player. He's not, he's broad in the shoulders, but he's tall, and he can do. I'll be interested to watch him play some basketball tonight. So tonight you've got Goodland and Colby on 100.3 The Ride and Goodland's Rocket 102.5. Tune in for coverage of your favorite broadcast this evening, but that is from the Max Jones Fieldhouse tonight. There you go, a full slate of basketball. All right, we'll take a break. 7:31 Mountain, 8:31 Central Time up next. We'll continue to talk a little bit more about this game from the girls' perspective. Colby High School basketball coach Yancey Walker will join the program next. This is the Morning Blitz.
If you want plain talk with exceptional results, the dedicated team at Norder Supply in Scott City is passionate about assisting their customers in achieving maximum net return per acre, and that is how they define success. Through unparalleled agronomic advice and best-in-class customer service, you can depend on them to do what is best for your operation. Call them today at 620-872-3058 for Norder Supply in Scott City.
This corn growing season, the pressure is on. We've got to work smarter, not harder. So turn to TrivaPro. As the hardest working, longest lasting corn fungicide, TrivaPro works overtime to protect plant health and your potential yield, even in fields with low disease pressure. When you need your inputs to go above and beyond, choose TrivaPro fungicide for disease control you can take to the bank. Ask your retailer for TrivaPro today. Always read and follow label instructions.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Tom Saluto with the Anderson Trade Group with your overnight market report on January the 13th. In the overnight session, post-report, we're slightly down. March corn down 3 at 418, May down 3.5 at 426.5, and July down 3 at 434. March soybeans down 5 at 1044. May soybeans down 4 at 1057, and July down 4 at 1071. March Kansas City hard red wheat was down 4 at 522.5. May KC wheat down 4 at 534, and July KC wheat down 3 at 548. Dow Jones currently down 30 points at 49,782. S&P is up 4 points at 7,020. NASDAQ is up 10 points at 25,966. Gold is up 5 points at 46.20 an ounce. Silver slightly up at 87.5 an ounce, and crude oil is slightly up at 60.49 a barrel. If you're out in the Colorado area and have any grain to market or risk management questions, please call John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484, or you can call the Overland Park office, myself, Tom Saluto, Jared Law, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000. Thank you.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
If you're buying or selling cattle, make your first stop livestockmarket.com. Bred cows, heifers, pairs, bulls and frozen genetics, even feeder calves. You'll find them all at livestockmarket.com. Livestock Market features private
Easy to see which fungicide gets you the most bang for your buck. Ask your retailer for Miravis Neo, the premium fungicide that performs. Always read and follow label instructions.
It's not just sports, it's your morning game plan.
I don't even believe you have a plan. I have part of a plan. That is not a plan.
This is the Morning Blitz.
8:36 Central, 7:36 Mountain Time here on a Tuesday, January the 13th. Once again, going to be another warm one, a spring-like day out there. Temperatures in the mid-60s. Could be a little blustery. In fact, for the next couple of days, expect some decent winds. Wednesday looking to be the worst with gusts up to around 35. So, little, like I said, breezy for the next rest of the week here, but temperatures going to remain, for the most part, pretty warm. Except for Wednesday, temperatures in the upper 40s. Otherwise, temps in the 60s. Such odd deal stuff. We talked about it yesterday. We have a chance throughout the rest of the month. We're having chances to win these 2 tickets that we have here, as you can see in the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream, to Traditions Restaurant's Strings Attached Valentine's Dinner and Dance. Yesterday, we had a couple people chime in with wanting to get entered in for that. And here's another chance on the FB Bank text line at 785-899-2222. What's the word of the day, Connor Schuh? We're going to leave the word of the day to you. That's going to be your duty on this whole promotion.
Okay, we'll go. We'll stick a little bit with the theme of yesterday. We'll go barbecue.
Barbecue is or you can put BBQ or barbecue. It doesn't matter. You can spell
Either
it.
work.
Barbecue, that is the word of the day. Text the word barbecue to our text line at 785-899-2222 throughout the rest of the program. And you'll be entered in for a chance to win these 2 tickets to the Valentine's Dinner and Dance at Traditions Restaurant in Goodland on Valentine's night. It should be a great, fun time. So text in the word barbecue to 785-899-2222 and join the likes of many others that have already decided to step in and be a part of it. All right, waiting patiently on the phone is our guest of the day. That's Colby High School girls basketball coach Yancey Walker, who joins us now. Good morning, Coach. How are we doing today?
Above average. How are you guys?
Well, we're doing fine. We're doing fine. Is that all the enthusiasm you have tonight for tonight's game at this point in time, Coach? You're ramping your way up to that?
It's just I don't have to be ramped up. The ladies have to be ramped up. So I'll just try to keep it between the mustard and the mayo and let them get ramped up.
Well, we appreciate taking some time this day. Coach, the first question I want to ask you is kind of reflecting upon last year. You went 22-4, had a great run all the way to the state tournament, finishing 4th place. When you look back at that season, how special of a run was that? And then can you also, after that, touch on kind of what it was like, to an extent, starting over a little bit here this summer with a different core of young ladies building for this year?
Well, I think anytime, in my opinion, coaches, anytime their teams have success, they are happy for the players. I don't know very many coaches I know there are some, but I don't know very many coaches that do this for themselves or for their own ego or anything like that. So, for me, it was great for those young ladies to get to go to the state tournament. And then, we played really well against Osage, and so they break like a 13-year streak or something like that without a win, or maybe the win was longer than that, and it was a 13-year streak since we'd made it to state or something like that. I don't remember, but I was happy for that group of young ladies. But the thing that I was happiest about for them, and this will kind of lead into the second question, is that I feel like they maximize their opportunities, and I feel like they maximize their abilities, and I feel like they maximize their effort. So, could we have had a different bounce here and there and maybe finish 3rd? We for sure could have. But those girls don't have to be my age and, think back to, if I'd have just done this. Like, they maximized everything they could have. And these girls are doing the same thing. And Connor can attest to this. We talk about just growing and growing and growing. And different years, that means different things. So for this group, we didn't have a lot of varsity experience coming back. So we've grown quite a bit from last summer to now, and then from the start of the season to now. But what we're growing in is that maximizing who we are and using our talents to the best of our abilities and our gifts to the best of our abilities. So that doesn't change regardless of who's on the team or what year it is. We've got some, I was randomly, like the 7th or 8th graders, I can't remember, it was the class of 30 and 31 or something like that. Like, Shemini Christmas, didn't we just get to 2020, so all of a sudden, so it doesn't matter if it was the class of 2025 or it's the class of 2031, their success will be based on maximizing who they are, maximizing the gifts that they have been given. And it's no different for this team. We're working to maximize our talents and being the best we can and playing our best basketball as we move forward, getting into February and March.
And I know we've touched on this a little bit previously, but in this season with a newer group kind of meshing together, how do you think they've kind of acclimated to just playing with each other all on varsity for the first time?
I think they're doing fine. They're doing a great job of overcoming the coaching, in my opinion. So they've just got to keep going, So it's everything is a process, and the teams that play together, you see this all the time, whether it's in the NBA or college basketball or high school basketball. There's never a perfect game, and so it's just the process of learning to be together and what it looks like when we're all playing as hard as we possibly can.
Head coach Yancey Walker is our guest here on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline. Colby Lady Eagle basketball coach. Coach, one thing that stood out to me looking at the record this year and the games is that you've had some really close games and you've managed to win a lot of those really close games.
Mm-hmm.
What has been that success? Because I'm sure you can attest to this. Usually when you have a bunch of girls that haven't played a ton of varsity basketball or the level they're playing at and they get in close games, sometimes they don't get that done. But why have they been able to be so good in close game situations this year?
Well, just because of who they are, they just do their jobs to the best of their ability. I guess the one thing I could maybe point to is the Larned game. And we talked about that game was going to come down to a play. And, it's hard to say that, but the truth of it is like there will be a play that kind of swings the momentum. Well, what's that play going to be? It might be a defensive rebound. It might be an assist. It might be an open shot. It could be a variety of different plays. And it could happen early or it could happen late. And I was actually wrong when I said that because we actually had 2 or 3 plays that were just great momentum shifting plays. And then when we were up 1, I think with a little over 13 seconds left, we sat down at a timeout and I just said, ladies, we have arrived at the play. And so they just found a way to get the stops that they needed and did a better job than Larned did. And I had a couple people tell me that they were ranked 10th when we beat them. So that's a good deal because our girls, obviously were not ranked and had a top 10 team. And then when Holcomb was here, they were 4th and, had our opportunities there. So we just do little things and that's the process of learning as well. And I'm glad that we, were able to learn with a couple of wins along with one heartbreaker, because that in itself is a talent. It's much easier to point to things in a loss, but these young ladies have listened through the process, whether it's been a successful game or not a successful game.
And you mentioned Larned and Holcomb, a couple of tough opponents in the early going, and you guys got life prep too. So in Hoxie as well, it's been a tougher
night, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a tougher early schedule. So how do you think that's helped the development of these girls?
Well, I've said this, and I'll go ahead. I gave them praise to Connor, and I'll go ahead and give praise here too. I guess I haven't seen the rankings this week, but last week Hoxie was not ranked. And I made the comment that if there are 10 teams in 2A better than Hoxie, then 2A is loaded to the hill.
Yeah.
So Hoxie's a very good team, and there's nothing to take away from them. They play pretty hard, and Jake does a great. I mean, he's in a tough spot, because he coaches the boys and the girls this year, and so that just puts yourself in a tough situation. I think he's doing a great job with it. So But anyway, yeah. So if there are 10 teams better than Hoxie in 2A, then 5 and 6A better stay away from 2A. So, what was the second part of your question there? I got off on a tangent, which never happens.
All good, but just with all the tough competition,
the schedule,
guys.
yeah. Sorry. Yeah, good job. Way to keep me on track. So there need to be more people like you. But anyway, it's just it just iron sharpens iron. You don't get better by playing bad teams. That just creates bad habits. Now, what I want to play life prep again. I don't think that would do us any good, but we got better playing them. So it's just been that type of year. In the past, it's really helped us. I felt like to be in the GWAC and last year I felt like it really prepared us to go on and have success at the state tournament. So when you're in a league like we're in with the coaches that we have, there's not an easy night. And when you add in Larned, when you add in Hoxie, when you add in a team like Life Prep, it doesn't let it get any easier. So I think that teaches us, the misconception. And I've said this, in various conversations for a long time. The misconception is that we coach basketball or we coach football. What we coach is we coach people. Our sport just happens to be basketball or wrestling or football or volleyball, whatever it may be, track, baseball. It could be a lot of different things, golf. So what we do, I think, as coaches is we prepare people for life. Sometimes you give your best effort and it might not be good enough. So how do you respond to that? And then how do you teach people to not be afraid to give their best effort, not knowing whether or not it's good enough? Because people don't like to leave their comfort zones. And so how do we teach young people that it's okay to be outside your comfort zone? It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to go out there and fail, but just learn from it and fail forward. And that's really what it all boils down to for us, is that we're teaching, next year's or the future's leaders. I mean, I want one of the girls to be the governor someday, just, and then when she gives her inauguration speech, I want to point back to basketball. No, I'm just kidding. but no, seriously, I've told them that before. I want one of them. I don't care who it is. Just somebody be the governor someday, lead the state, be someone that everybody else trusted to lead the state, run your own business, whatever you're going to do. But whatever you do, there are going to be a lot of hard times and there's going to be a lot of failure. So if you can learn to fail forward, basketball is perfect for that, because you have to work with other people and you have to depend on them to do their job. And then you have to do your job to the best of your ability. And when somebody doesn't, you see that, somebody else has to pick up the slack, or there's going to be failure. So how do we learn from it and move forward? And then we also see that when everybody does their job to the best of their ability, then a lot of success can happen. It's not guaranteed, but it increases the chances.
Yancey Walker, our guest here, Kobe Lady Eagle basketball coach. One final one for me. Shaylee Holzmeister has been a young lady that's played a lot of basketball for you, played a lot last year, and this year kind of being the I don't want to say the top dog, but one of the top players for your career this year. Talk about her improvement over the course of her career and what her senior year has been like thus far.
I don't think people, if someone's on the outside looking in, I don't think that they understand the difficulty and how well she handles things, because, with the group, the class of 2025, in every sport, they were looked at, favorably and deservedly so. And so now that she's getting her opportunity to shine, and you can't just say that because I don't remember what it was, but, she had double-digit points and rebounds in the sub-state finals last year. So she obviously shined then. She's obviously shined in the past. But now when you're the focal point and she's the focal point of a lot of defenses and she's still having success, I think that just points to her ability to her internal drive, her internal willingness to be successful. And she and I talk about, like servant leadership and stuff like that, because, if younger girls see Shaylee sprinting over to pick somebody up, if younger girls, see Shaylee encouraging others, then it becomes the cool thing to do, for lack of a better term. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Sometimes I have to have a translator, but does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. Totally get it.
So, she's done a good job with all of those things. And I think I would guess I'd be, from what I was told, she did a good job in volleyball too, for the most part. So it's not easy. You don't just slide into a spot like that, but she was doing that stuff when she was younger as well, but she didn't have to do it as much. So like I said, I think what people need to do is understand and appreciate, or try to understand, the magnitude of a lot of times being the defense's focal point and still having success on the court while still trying to be the best when, if things aren't going well for her, she still has to put her teammates first. And that's a tough concept for anybody, let alone a teenage person who, hasn't had as much experience, like me. It's those kind of things are a little easier for me because I've failed at it plenty of times to get better at it. Well, she's still in the infancy stages of those types of things. So I think she's done a great job with handling those situations and, working to be a good teammate, working to be a servant leader with those things as well.
He is Yancey Walker, Colby Lady Eagle basketball coach. Yancey, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Look forward to seeing your girls play tonight.
I just hope you say nice things about me tonight. That's we're gonna go back and listen to the broadcast. And, if you guys have comment cards, I'm going to be filling one out if I don't like something.
You know what? I will give you a comment card and you can give me your honest opinion, Yancey. I'll take it.
All right. I only have crayons. Does that work?
That works for me. Works for me. Make sure it's in red. That's the only, I'm used to that from school. You get the redo at the top of the page in red crayon. So,
yeah.
Thanks,
Thank
Coach.
you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank you, Coach.
See you. Once again, great stuff there. Yancey Walker, Colby Lady Eagle basketball coach there. Boy, great conversation, great information there. Not just about basketball, but about coaching and life in general. Phenomenal stuff there from him. We will take our final break, come back. A little college basketball tonight, Kansas, Nebraska, a couple of ranked-on-ranked matchups tonight in men's college hoops. We'll get to that next. We wrap up a show on a Tuesday. It's been the Blitz.
Kick off the new year in professional grade style with Arcadia with 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers, or choose a 26 GMC CR 1500 and get up to $7,000 in rebates with an eligible trade-in, or 0% APR for well-qualified buyers. Big capability, bold style, and New Year savings you don't want to miss. Start the year strong at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Shop online at hurlchev.com.
With NextTech Wireless, get truly unlimited data as low as $40 a month. And get the latest devices like the iPhone 17 on us. iPhone 17 has a 6.3-inch ProMotion display, Ceramic Shield 2, all 48-megapixel rear cameras, center stage front camera, A19 chip, and more. NextTech Wireless, celebrating 20 years of connecting Kansans.
Need a porta potty or septic pumping in Northwest Kansas? Call Topside Portables and Pumping, your local family-owned crew. They've got clean, reliable toilets for weddings, farms, and job sites, plus full septic services, RV waste, fertilizer tanks, and more. Available 24/7, because when nature calls, they answer. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. Reliable, local, clean.
Kick off 2026 ready for whatever winter brings. At Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, they've got the gear to start the new year strong. Get organized with rugged storage totes. And when the snow starts falling, If it does, power through it with Ego and Craftsman snowblowers. Or if it's just the light stuff, blow it away with Ego leaf blowers. And don't forget ice melt to keep your sidewalk safe all season long. New year, winter ready. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Helpful folks, trusted brands, and everything you need to get it done.
At F&B Bank, we believe local businesses are the heart of our community. That's why we're more than just your bank. We're your neighbor, your customer, and your biggest supporter. From the corner cafe to the hardware store downtown, we're walking the same streets, shopping the same shops, and investing in the same future, yours. We're here, we're local, and we're always in your corner. F&B Bank, banking built on community, member FDIC.
All the sports you love, all in one place.
Ooh, this will come in handy.
This is the Morning Blitz.
Thanks again to Yancey Walker for joining the program. Great stuff from him. I wish I possessed his dry humor. I wish I had more dry humor like he does.
He's a funny guy, man.
Very funny. I wish I had his dry humor skills that he does. Don't forget the word of the day to get entered in for the chance to win a couple of tickets to the Strings Attached Valentine's event going on at Traditions Restaurant in downtown Goodland. That word of the day is barbecue. So text the word barbecue to 785-899-2222. You get a chance to win. Going to be a fun night there at Traditions Restaurant in downtown Goodland. Strings Attached. Great music, playing all kinds of hits, country music as well. Great dancing music. Should be a dinner and dance. Something Connor would love to do. Love to go. Get up. Get
dinner and dance.
There you go. Are you a dancing type of guy?
I'm a horrible dancer. I mean, I'll try. Like, I'll embarrass myself, but I'm not great at it.
Shame is not a problem for Connor Schuh. Apparently. Nope. We don't care about that. So tonight, some college basketball, some pretty good games. You've got a couple of good ranked-unranked games. You've got UConn at Seton Hall tonight. If you wanted to check that out, you got Virginia. Louisville's a ranked-unranked game. Some other interesting ones in Indiana going to Michigan State, which is always an interesting game. And Colorado State's in action tonight. They're over at Fresno State here this evening. Couple of games that we'll be keeping our eyes closely on. Iowa State, now the second-ranked team in the country, going to take on Kansas tonight. That's at 8 Central, 7 Mountain Time, as it's Jayhawks and Cyclones. We'll see if I saw this ridiculous stat from the KU media notes. This is a ridiculous stat. Hear this stat, my friend. Bill Self, the Jayhawks are 136-24 under Bill Self following a loss, and have been dominant against top 5 teams in the field house, including a 4-0 mark against number 2 ranked teams. So wow. If you're Iowa State, you're on upset alert, baby.
Oh, it might be 4-1 after tonight.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Remember, the Fog is a very special place.
It is true.
It's prevented them from being 0-3 to begin Big 12 competition.
They would have lost to TCU if not for that atmosphere.
You're exactly right. They would have. And like I said, yesterday I said, think about it. If that happens, Kansas and Kansas State are a combined 0-6 to begin Big 12 play. It's that one win that's preventing them from having that. Well, it's still not a good 1-5 record, but
no
record at this point in time between the two teams. But Kansas tonight, unranked, by the way, in the new recent rankings, and they are 4.5-point dogs at home, which you don't see very often, but usually an unranked team against the number 2 ranked team, 4.5 points is still pretty nice.
Nice. I mean, it's that Kansas pedigree.
Yeah, that's going to carry them for a while. It will carry them for many years. They've built up enough equity over the course of time. It will carry. But I still think, in comparison to what we've seen in previous years, is that Kansas is, dropping off compared to where they were. Other teams are getting better around them as well, causing them to kind of fall into the middle of the pack. And there was another interesting quote. I think it was Bill Self that said something along this line. Oh, there was a press conference or after a game. He said something along the lines. He goes, one of the biggest differences between Kansas basketball today and of years of the past is our bench, is our quality of bench. I don't think he was trying to mock the bench that much, but I think he was saying, we don't have the same dudes we used to have on the bench because those guys are now at other schools playing and starting.
They have almost, I'm not going to say zero depth, but you can tell there's a drop off, like a genuine drop off when they go to their bench, and that's not what you had in previous years.
No. So that's what's happened. The bench is not as good as it needs to be for Kansas for them to be at the top at this point in time, and they're just not there. But that game tonight on ESPN, of course, Flyover Country 97.9, your home for Kansas Jayhawk athletics. And also tonight, same exact tip-off time, 8 Central, 7 Mountain Time, Nebraska, number 8 in the country. Unbelievable. I cannot believe that number next to that logo. It's nuts for me to look at. Number 8, hosting Oregon tonight. Oregon, a tall team. I think
not a good one.
6'11", 7 foot. Nate Biddle, the 7-footer, looks like a guy that should be playing in the 1970s. He's got long hair, but he's balding, so he's holding on to every shred of hair.
He's got like right there.
He's got the spot. You can see big old Nate Biddle, but we'll see. Nebraska, once again, not the tallest team in the country, but boy, I got to think that crowd is going to be juiced.
Oh, yeah.
Going to be juiced, and I think that's going to be the difference to push. By the way, Nebraska, 10.5-point favorites over Oregon. Oh, and shout out to Dana Altman. He's a Nebraska native, born and raised in Wilbur, Nebraska. And I think it's his first time, as an Oregon coach. Might be the second time that he's brought them back to Nebraska. So
that would make sense.
Yeah. So look forward to seeing the highlights of that tonight, Nebraska and Oregon. There you go. College hoops tonight for you on tap. Let's get to the, we're out of time. It's time for the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off Brady? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes swings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
So I said, earlier in the show, talking the walk-off about Chris Kleiman, and he's starting to kind of release the factors that went to his decision to retire. And, you kind of read the tea leaves when he stepped down. You kind of got the thought of why that was going to be. But this was from him. He said, I was kind of at my wit's end, as anybody can do whatever the heck they want when talking about NIL and transfer portal. He goes, I've talked to too many coaches across the country, and we're all kind of like, we need some guardrails so that nobody can spend that, so that somebody can't spend $45 million while other people can spend $15 million. And
he's got a point.
This article that he did with the Manhattan Mercury is fantastic. Go in and read it. He lays it all out. Unfortunately, you need more people to think like this, and more people to think like this at a higher power level to get things figured out across all college sports. It's not just football; it's all sports. But
right.
What he said is fantastically well said.
He's got a good point. I mean, I don't really blame him. He's more old school, and I think you might see more old school-ish coaches kind of get out of there.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm surprised Kyle Whittingham got on with Michigan. I thought he might be a guy who just gets out of there, but no.
Nope, and he's going to stick around, I guess. We'll see. Did you see that there was a story? I think Kyle Whittingham was doing a podcast. He said, he goes, last year Bryce Underwood didn't have a quarterbacks coach.
What?
Yeah, that's what he said. Bryce Underwood did not have a quarterbacks coach.
That's why he sucked. Jeez. He has all that talent, but couldn't put it together. That makes a lot of sense.
Well, he's got all that money, too, from Michigan, He's got all that big-time money going on there. But, yeah, interesting article. Check that out at the Manhattan Mercury. Chris Kleiman talking about the reasons for him stepping down. It's interesting and makes a whole lot of sense. For Connor Schuh, I'm Ross Volkmer. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk tonight for Colby Goodland basketball. It's been the Blitz.